former Energy Secretary, Texas Governor Rick Perry, along with Fox News contributor and Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Governor Perry, I'll start with you because this was something you and Newt Gingrich felt very strongly about. How important, how impactful is this to the 17 states that are in question tonight?
Well, you got 45% of the gasoline that's going to the eastern part of the United States going through that pipeline. So it's, this is a national security issue. But, Sean, here's the really important thing for me from the standpoint of matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the Clinton administration, Bush administration, the Obama administration all worked to get America to be independent of other countries of oil and gas. And we did that under the Trump administration. We not only became independent, we became dominant. And this administration wants to take that away, stop building pipelines. Well, if there was ever a wake-up call of, hey, President Biden, maybe we should build more pipelines instead of shutting them down, this was it today with the Colonial Pipeline. This is insanity.
Well, let's not forget, with the stroke of a pen, executive fiat, these are high-paying career jobs in the energy sector. And for the first time in 75 years, America became energy independent, great for national security, great for career jobs for American citizens. Mr. Speaker, we now have, it looks like this attack came from Russia. Then we have an unholy alliance between the Chinese, the Russians, and the Iranians fighting a proxy war against the Middle East, basically in toto, especially Israel, and Israel's under fire tonight. I don't see Joe Biden funding the Palestinians and getting back in the Iranian deal having any positive effect.
Yeah, and when you think about it, this is really...
Hang on, Newt Gingrich.
Go ahead, good. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just going to say, and of course, Governor Perry knows much more than I do about the pipeline part of this. But on the national security part, let me just say, we ought to pass a law immediately that makes this kind of hacking subject to a death penalty. And the law should include a provision that the president, through a judicial process, should be able to order the killing of anybody overseas who's doing this. I mean, we have now spent like 15 years on defense. We have no idea who they are. We have no idea where they are. And if we did know who they were, we'd have no mechanism to do anything about it. A great country cannot allow people to come in and savage it, have no consequences, and then wait for the next attack. And yet that literally is where we are right now. I think this ought to be a bipartisan issue, and people ought to ask themselves, what are we prepared to do to protect America from whether it's official governments or whether it is private citizens? This is an intolerable situation.
How does he get to bipartisanship when it comes to funding the Iranian mullahs and getting into a deal where you don't have any place, anytime inspections? How do you get into a deal when the Chinese and the Russians are giving Iranians weapons for their proxy war against Yemen, and the three countries aligned against the United States and its allies, Newt?
Look, it's pretty straightforward. You get a week or two, and again, Governor Perry can explain this in much more technical detail than I can. You get 2 or 3 weeks of the Northeast losing 45% of its oil and gas, and the American people are going to say, enough of this baloney. We want this country protected. We want it to be effective. We want it to be immediate, and we're going to fire anybody who doesn't get in line. People are not going to tolerate these kind of, which I'm told are constant, but these kind of attacks, which are a new kind of warfare. And I don't care if they're private criminals or they're public criminals. It's an act of war against the United States to do stuff like this. We need to react to it as an act of war. And the American people are going to look at their representatives and their senators, and they're going to say, you don't fix this, your successor will, because I'm not going to put up with it, and I'm not going to put up with you if you don't fix it.
Governor Perry, it's sort of like corporations don't pay taxes. They're not going to lower their bottom line. They will pass them on to we, the consumer. Okay, Joe Biden has his new Green Deal agenda. It's really a socialist agenda. That means that we're now energy dependent, the lifeblood of the world's economy. That hasn't changed overnight. And now we'll be dependent again. And that means every single consumer item that is trucked in to whatever store it happens to be, won't it be the consumers that are paying the higher costs for fuel and now would even go higher?
Get ready for the inflation that's going to come with this. And you know, when I look over at North Carolina, and I think about a Democrat governor over there that declared a state of emergency. Think about the state of New Mexico that is absolutely going to be devastated because of the fossil fuel decisions that are being made in the current administration. You got well, I think everybody in New Mexico is a Democrat elected official now, 2 United States senators and the governor and the Secretary of Interior is from New Mexico, and they're willing to throw their state into the toilet, so to speak, to support this administration. I don't understand that. I don't understand how people think that their political affiliation is more important than the people that they represent. And so, you know, Newt is absolutely correct. I mean, the speaker nails this when he talks about this being such an important national security issue. Not only is it the economic side of a lot of people in states and union workers and what have you, but when you think about who's this really helping? Well, it's helping the Chinese because the administration wants to do away with American fossil fuels and rely totally upon the renewable side of things. And a part of your portfolio being renewable makes sense, but to see the way they're moving away from everything that has to do with fossil fuel, this Green New Deal insanity that we're seeing them stand up with, and the people that this helped is China. China, I think 60% of the solar panels come from China. 80% of the polysilicon that they use in that industry is in China's hands. So the idea that we're, you know, we got to address this, and the speaker is right. It's going to take some drastic measures. We need to send a clear and powerful message. You come into the United States and you attack us using cyber methods, we will come and get you, we will find you, and you will pay a huge and heavy price. Until we do that, it's free game.
All right, Governor, Secretary Perry, Speaker Gingrich, thank you both. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.